Hello, I'm Bud McCord. I'm here in Brazil, South America, way up in the mountains of Brazil, probably about almost a mile high above sea level. It's very cold this morning, but a very beautiful day as well. It's a special day for Pam and for me. It was on this date 16 years ago that we arrived back in Brazil to minister and build a ministry called Abide International. And here in Brazil, it's called Ministério Permanecer. It's a ministry for discipleship. And this course that we've been doing, this tour of the Vineyard of God, was the very first material that we produced here in Brazil in Portuguese. And this is the city in which we first ministered this material to believers here in this city probably about 15 years ago. And so it's a good day. It's a good day to be working in the things that God has for us, prepared for us, and I hope that you'll be feeling the same way. We've been talking about pruning and the need for our return to sacred zero. I think prunings are very definite moments in our lives. I don't believe we're pruned every single day. I think we're pruned at certain periods of our life where we absolutely need to do a new phase of fruit bearing. And sometimes, I would say at all times, that will involve pain, because we as human beings, we do not like to let go of what we've accumulated. We like to carry with us some kind of proof that we are doing a good job or have done a good job. I'm not so sure that there's anything necessarily wrong with holding memories and holding a sense of accomplishment. But one thing I do know is that we need to live every day from fresh grace, from fresh water, from today's light. And this living in the sacred zero prepares us for a kind of living that is common to the kingdom of God, and that is, you live at the pace of one day at a time. You live understanding that you will be given the resources from God, the source of divine love, for you to love the people that you need to love. And loving people, loving God and loving our neighbor is where we find the most meaning in our lives. If we want to live meaningful lives, we have to get away from this idea of selectively experiencing life by surrounding ourselves only with people who love us, or only surrounding ourselves with people who benefit us. We have to see ourselves as a branch in the vineyard, or sheep in God's sheep flock. And we need to see that we're moving through life. We're moving through life. And we must move through life, as Jesus would say it, as he said, carrying our cross, or delivering the amount of love that we should deliver today. I've been in a retreat with pastors and leaders. I think there's about 30 of us here. And these are all leaders from the church community that I have been identified with for the last 12 years. And it's a wonderful church community. And the pandemic has been really hard on Brazil, and it's been really hard on our community. We've seen many people die. We've all wept tremendously. And we have all felt deeply the loss of dear people. And so we are, as a group, trying to organize our spiritual and mental and emotional well-being as a group so that we can begin to minister to the people that need us. Jesus said this in John 6:29. This is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent. Okay, let me walk back through this, because this is another way of saying sacred zero, or why God would prune us. He said, the work you are called to by God is to believe And the word believe means to commit to. It doesn't just mean have an intellectual idea about. To believe is to throw your entire expectation on him, Jesus, the one who God sent. Some people have been very critical of the way that I express the Christian life because I'm so focused on Jesus. Well, let me ask you this. If the work of God is to believe on him whom he sent, then where should our focus be? It should be on Jesus Christ. To use a different way, if Jesus is the bridegroom and we are the bride, then where should my attention and your attention be? It should be on the bridegroom. In that metaphor, if Jesus is the good shepherd and we are the sheep of his pasture, where should the focus be? If Jesus is the true vine and we are the vine branches, the branches, then where should the focus be? Then we come back to what we've been talking about. Why would God take it upon himself, God the Father, to prune me back? Back to what? Back to where? Back to whom? I'm honestly convinced that the Christian church, in any of its expressions, will be ineffective if they seek any other source than the one whom God sent, which is Jesus Christ. There was this moment when Peter and John were on the Mount of Transfiguration and James, and they were on the Mount of Transfiguration, and Peter had this brilliant idea, like all of us have sometimes, it just don't happen to be God's idea. And he said, let's build 3 tabernacles, one for Jesus, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. And he thought that was a great idea. And then the voice came from heaven, and a cloud covered the mountain, and a voice said, "This is my beloved Son. Hear him." So one of the purposes of a pruning, and one of the purposes of a God discipline in our life, is to get us to believe in the one he sent. There is no other that he sent to die for us. There is no other that he sent to be the way, the truth, and the life that takes us back to the Father. There is one way, and that way is Jesus. And there's one truth. If you want to see the truth clothed in flesh and blood, you look to Jesus. You look to Jesus. If I could make anything clear to people after all these years of talking about the vineyard and talking about the vine and working with these metaphors of Jesus and these teachings and the words of Jesus, if there's one thing I could say to people, do not underestimate Jesus. Do not underestimate who it is that died for you. Do not underestimate who it is that has wept and prayed for you. Do not underestimate the one who lives in you at this moment so that you can bear the fruit of the Spirit and be a blessing in other people's lives. I wish I had the time and the ability to, one person at a time, just spend time talking with them about Jesus over and over and over again. It is an inexhaustible source of wisdom that resides in Jesus. In Colossians it says it pleased the Father that the fullness of God should dwell in him bodily. I'm here in Brazil, you're wherever you are right now. Do you believe that you are a branch that is connected to the true vine? Do you believe that you are a part of his flock? Do you believe that he has chosen to spend eternity with you like a husband would with his bride? Do you believe that he is the way, the truth, and the life? That's what pruning will put. Pruning will put you to the test. It will tell you, what do you really believe? Who will really care for you? Who will really be there for you? A pruning will put you in a place where you are either going to go on with Jesus or you're not. It'll put you in a place where you'll be like Peter was when in John chapter 6, when Jesus said, "Are you guys going to leave me too?" And he said, "Where would we go? You have the words of life." Well, that's what pruning has done in my life. It put me in this question of, where will I go? Is there anything better? Is there anyone better? Pruning will put you to the test of whether or not you want to do the work of God. And the work of God is to believe on Jesus. Do that, and you will be useful in the work of God. You will be used by God. You may not know the value of your work, but it will be there. And you will see someday the fruit of that and go, it was Jesus the whole time. And I was just receiving, rejoicing, and releasing. Hey, have a great day. Tomorrow we'll finish up on a few more thoughts about pruning. Have a great day.